Hi everyone, happy Monday. I hope you guys are doing well. It is a gorgeous day here in Tennessee. It's just really beautiful. We don't have any rain, but just like almost perfect fall weather other than the lack of rain. So it's just gorgeous here. I hope it's really nice where you are. If you're new to the channel, my name is Bev McCullough from Flamingo Toes, and we are sewing through the Daisy a Day quilt that's over my shoulder there. And we are kicking off our sewing portion with block 1, and that is this cute block right here. This is the block that we're going to sew up today. You'll have a few of these to make up for the quilt. We'll talk all about that in just a little bit, but this is our block of the day, and it is block 1 in the quilt. So if you're just now finding this, you have arrived at the perfect time. And even if you found this you don't have time to sew along, or if you found this later, these videos stay available for you guys to watch at any time. So feel free to sew this up at your own pace. There's no race, especially this time of year. And so we're just gonna, have a blast making up this fun quilt. There's a lot of folks sewing along with the whole kits, and I'm so excited to see your versions of the kits, but I know we have several people sewing along with making up a table runner or pillows or things like that. Maybe you're doing all three. I don't know. So I want to say hi to some people, see who's here. Let's see, over on YouTube, Teresa's here. She got here early. Hey, Teresa. She said it's beautiful in South Carolina. I'm so glad. Hi, Nancy. I'm so glad you're here too. Julie's here. Yay, I'm glad you're here live too. Hey, that's great. Fall break. Happy fall break, everyone. I know some of the country is on now, and then some maybe next week. My sister's in Arizona, and she's going to be on next week. So I think it's a mix of this week and next. So hopefully that's super fun for you if you're getting to enjoy that. Tracy's here. Deborah. Hi, Deborah. Isn't it gorgeous? Is it gorgeous down in Murfreesboro? I assume it is. It's gorgeous everywhere. We just need a little bit of rain. Mary's here. Miss Beatty's here. Hey, you're here live. That's great. Cynthia's here. Anna's here. Hi, Anna. See, AC just turned on here as it's about 82 now. Oh, well, that's not too bad. I think we are getting a little warmer later in the week. But I think we'll go back down to fallish times too. I don't know if you guys can hear just a little bit of kind of almost a white noise in the background today, but apparently today is the day that our soybeans are being harvested. So out the window is I don't know if it's a combine or exactly what kind of machine harvests soybeans, but it's a ginormous one, and it's out there and it's loud. And of course, it didn't do anything this morning, and I was like, oh, we made it today without the harvesting, and it showed up about an hour ago, and I figured, well, there it is. We'll just have a little bit of noise. If it seems like it's a little too loud, I'll try and speak up if it gets close. Right now, it's a little ways away, but, with our luck, it might end up here close very soon, so. Hey, Judy, so glad you're here to do the first block, too. Yay, and Anita and Deborah, let's see. Over on Facebook, Dawn's here, Allison, hey Leanne, I'm so glad you're here, Wendy's here, Elizabeth is here, Carrie, hey everybody, Janice is here. I'm so glad you guys are here, and I hope that everybody is doing well. I know there were just crazy bad storms. I know we have a lot of friends in Florida. Hope you guys are okay, and that everybody affected by that storm is okay. So I know that's crazy things going on down there. So let's see. Lots going on around here so last week we kicked off 2 sew-alongs. The first was I'm going to move my mouse over here and hopefully it works. The first was this sew-along, which is going to be on Mondays. And then for the first time ever, we're doing 2 sew-alongs. I think it's the first time ever. I don't know. It might not be. I know around COVID time we did a lot of videos. So but for right now, we're doing a second mini quilt sew along. So that is my Spring Flowers quilt. And last Wednesday, we had a fun trunk show where I got to show you all the quilts that are in Make It Mini, plus 2 new ones that didn't make it in the book because of space, but I'm going to release those patterns later. And so if you want to check those out, that's linked in today's video description. It's linked to the YouTube video, but that video is also in the Facebook group if that's where you prefer to watch. I try and keep videos in both places. It's just sometimes a little bit easier to find them on YouTube after the fact because it's a little more organized over there. And in Facebook, it's like this one long stream of consciousness, and sometimes it's hard to find things. So if you're looking for something in particular, head to YouTube. And just as a little plug, if you haven't liked and subscribed over on YouTube, that would be fabulous if you want to do that as well. So all that to say, we kicked off the spring flowers. We are going to be doing that one in a few segments as well, and I will show you that schedule here. So last week was our kickoff, and then this week we will be doing block assembly. So we're going to sew up the blocks in the quilt, and then we will do 2 weeks of stitching to stitch that pretty heart in the center, which is hand stitched. You're welcome to embroider a heart in the center, or you can add another block in the center or anything like that. But definitely, if you haven't tried hand stitching before, this is a great way to practice your embroidery. And then we will do assembly. So I would love for you to join in on that if you are interested in doing a small project. And then this is kind of a busy, sew along time right now because I signed up for a few sew-alongs with Fat Quarter Shop, and you know how things are with supply chains right now. You just never really know when something's going to arrive, and so they had to shimmy some dates around because of fabric supplies, and so a whole bunch of sew-alongs are landing at the same time, which is great. So right now I am joining in with the Christmas time sew-along, which is a free Christmas quilt. And I can't show you the blocks because I've already started to assemble. So, but last week was week 3. This is week 4. So this is the last block. Releases tomorrow. It's for a really, really cute mini quilt. The first block was a mug, like a Christmas mug. And then the second one was Christmas candies. And then the third one was a greeting card. And then the fourth one, you'll have to wait and see until tomorrow what it is. It's very, very cute. And then the week after that, we'll put those all together. And that one is completely free, of course. So then on Friday, we are kicking off a breast cancer fundraiser sew-along. It's called the Support Group Quilt. The quilt is designed by Lori Holt, so you do have to buy the pattern to join in with that one. But it's the cutest quilt, you guys. So it's made up of, I think, 3 or 4 rows of different types of bras. They're so cute and colorful and fun. So that kicks off on Friday, the actual sewing part of it. But I do have a link in the video description for you if you want to check that out. They're also doing a fundraiser for the Breast Cancer Foundation, I believe it is. So check that out, and everybody, we all know somebody that's been affected by that. I'm sewing for a good friend of mine, Jamie, that passed away a few years ago, and I miss her so much. So I'm sort of making my quilt in honor of her, and it's just a really fun quilt, you guys. So, and again, super low key. So that one will be on Fridays, and then in 3 weeks, I don't know if you've seen the buzz about Fat Quarter Shop's Sewcialites 2 sew-along. So this is really exciting for me, you guys, because they chose 24 designers to design a block for this quilt. It's an amazing quilt, and I was really fortunate to be one of the 24. So super honored about that. It's always amazing to me. And my block is the first block, so no pressure there either. So the cool thing about that one is it also is 100% free. It's a long sew along. So it's something that you could join in with your stash, or you could pick out fabrics, and it's a very low key commitment. It will also be on Fridays or Saturdays. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's Fridays. If somebody knows, then please chime in, but I believe it's Fridays. And that one is being released, so the blocks are released in 3 sizes, a 3-inch, a 6-inch, and a 9-inch. So you can pick which one you want to make, and it has all the information for what fabrics you need. So obviously the 3-inch block will, that quilt will end up like in the 30-inch range, and then it goes up from there. I think the 9-inch one ends up in the maybe 90 by 90, something along that lines. And there's going to be finishing instructions at the end. It's a really pretty layout with awesome like giant friendship stars throughout it. I'm excited to, which I think is fun because it's like you're sewing with friends, right? So that one kicks off like later in October, and it'll go all the way through to April. So again, that one is like low and slow, not an every week situation. Like, I mean, it is every week, but it's not like, it just feels a little bit more relaxed. It's a longer sew along. So if you want to join in with that one, also have a link in today's video description. I know that there's a bunch of you that have posted that you're joining in with that one. I'm going to sew with Daisy Fields as my prints, and then I'm going to use the scattered hexagon print as my background. So check that out if you want to sew along with us on all the things. And please never feel obligated. I'm just kind of telling you guys what's out there. You pick and choose what works best for your schedule and your budget and all the things. So it's going to be really, really fun. All right, I don't want to miss comments. I know, Dawn, it's so hard when there's so many sew-alongs and we want to do them all. Okay, let's see. Carrie said that you guys are proud of me for being chosen by Sewcialites. Carrie, you're gonna make me cry. Thank you. Hi, Susanna. I know, Cheryl, it's a lot of quilt-alongs, and I really do not want to overwhelm you guys. So I'm trying to be as organized as I can about when things are and what's going on. And when I post photos, I will always try and make sure I say what quilt it's a part of so that you can easily be like, wait, did I miss something for something? I don't want you to get confused. So, okay. Yay, Dolores, I'm so glad you're sewing along with us. Oh, Sharon, you're very sweet. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's going to be really fun. And the quilt, you can see, it's not a mystery quilt. So for the Sewcialites, you can go on and see what the quilt looks like. It's gorgeous, you guys. It's really, really pretty, and everybody's blocks are really cool. So that soybean thing is loud. So for my first block, because I'm the first week, I made up my block in all 3 sizes, but I'm not going to make all 3 quilts. So I was going to make the 9-inch because I want to use that quilt as a bedspread in one of my guest rooms. And so I'm going to do that. And then I decided after I made up the 3-inch block, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. It's tiny, y'all, like tiny pieces here. So I really want to do that one for the challenge as well. So I'm going to make up the 3-inch and the 9-inch, and I'm going to make them exactly the same. But I'm super excited to have both sizes. It'll be really fun to sew along. So I know not everybody's sewing along, but I really want to. I'm just super excited about it. So yes, Maureen, thank you so much. Maureen's here today. She's got Daisy Fields in her shop. So Maureen, tell us what your shop, put your shop link in Maureen's watching over on YouTube, and she has a shop where she carries fabric. So Maureen, put your shop link in the comments so that everybody can go visit you. If you guys are looking for Daisy Fields fabrics or kits, I have added some more shops to our Daisy Fields shop list. That is also in the video description today. And there's even a shop in Canada. If you're watching in Canada, a gal emailed me today, so I've got her added on there. She's got pre-cuts and yardage if you want to pick up any Daisy Fields in Canada and not pay the crazy US shipping. So there's that. And then there are other shops that have Daisy a Day quilt kits if you want to pick this up. There are shops that have kitted up the Country Daisies quilt, which we're going to do in January. And there are shops that have kitted up the Garden Terrace quilt, which is this quilt right here. It's a really fun one, also in Daisy Fields. And so you can kind of do some shopping and see what works good for you. Maybe a little early, like put it under your Christmas tree shopping. I have absolutely no problem buying presents for myself and saying, this is my Christmas present. Doug doesn't mind me doing that either. Okay. So let's talk about giveaways. Oh, Mary says she's going for 9-inch in the sew-alongs. That's great. 3 inches terrifying, but try some. Yes. Okay, it is a little terrifying even for me, and I sew for a living, right? But it's so fun, and it really, I think it'll build my precise, because you have to be precise at 3 inches. So I think it'll build my skills, and so that's one of the reasons I'm excited about it. And you guys know that I don't get super, I mean, I want my blocks to look good, but I'm also not going to freak out if they're not 100% perfect either, because that's not how I roll. That takes all the fun out of it. So anyway, let's do giveaways. Let's see. Lindy said she was looking for fabric for the mini sew-along and realized she's bought so many of my fabric lines and books without really knowing I was the same person. She has Singing in the Rain, a kit of, oh my gosh, your comment is so great. I love you, Lindy. She has Singing in the Rain and the Daisy Fields kit and the Retro Stitchery book. And I'm so glad you're here too, Lindy. That's awesome. Thank you. Lisa on YouTube asked if I designed quilt fair fabric, and I did not, Lisa. That is Tasha Noel. She's the same designer who designed Pixie Noel, which is what I'm sewing with for the Christmas time sew-along. If you've seen those prints, she's so talented. And Quilt Fair is so cute. So, no, that is not my collection. Okay, let's do giveaways. So last week our giveaway was this big giant bundle of Daisy Fields fabrics. I know some of you guys have already gotten Daisy Fields fabrics, so hopefully that's okay. If for some reason you don't want Daisy Fields fabrics, I have 2 bundles, no, maybe 1 back order bundle of Christmas Adventure you could sub it out with. But maybe you want to go ahead and get this and give it to a friend, or keep it for yourself and make all the Daisy Fields quilts. It would set you up for the Country Daisies one that we're going to do in January, that's for sure. So a back order bundle of that. All 3 of the new needle minders that are in the shop. There is a ice cream parlor, and oops, they magnetized, and a sweet little bee, and then the haunted truck, which is right here, and it's really fun. So you get all 3 of those, and you get to pick a quilt pattern of your choice. So if you want to pick Daisy a Day and sew along with us, you can do that. Or you can pick any of my other quilt patterns that you would like. I am totally open to that. So our winner is Anna Blake. Anna was watching over on YouTube last week, and I'm almost positive I saw her name already this week. Anna, are you here? Yes, let's see. I think I saw Anna earlier on YouTube. Maybe she had to say hi and then jet. I don't know. But anyway, this is all for Anna, and if you will email me, bev@flamingotoes.com with your mailing address, I will send you your prize this week. So congrats, Anna. Okay, so somebody, let's see. Yay, Anna. She's in shock, she says. Julie asked what are needle minders. So needle minders are really fun stitching tools, and I can't get it out of the bag. So what it is, it looks like an enamel pen, and it's a really cute design, if I do say so myself. I do design all my own needle minders, just in case you were curious. And there is a magnet glued to the back side instead of a pin back, and then there's also a loose magnet. So what these are great for is for if you are stitching, and we're going to use them when we make up our mini quilt and the mini quilt along, is you put the cute side of the needle minder on your fabric while you're stitching or cross stitching or quilting, and then you put the loose magnet on the back side, and that keeps the needle minder sandwiched to your fabric. And what that does is it holds your needle when you're not stitching. It's a really strong magnet, so you can just plunk your needle right down there, and you don't have to put it through your fabric and add extra holes or lose it, step on it, whatever. I've done that many, many times. So these are just a fun, cute kind of way to hold your needle when you're not stitching. And like I said, they work great for embroidery or cross stitch. They work great for machine binding, or not machine binding, hand binding or hand quilting. And I have a ton of designs in my shop that a lot of them go with different fabric collections, or I have several series. I have a whole series of vintage trucks, and I have a woodland series. I have some Christmas ones. Two new Christmas ones are on their way at the end of this month, y'all. Any guesses as to what's coming? And there's a whole Main Street shop series too, because I love living in a small town and I love having a main street where I can go down and shop for different things. So there's a quilt shop and all my favorite shops. Basically, I've populated with my main street with the things that I love. So I hope that you guys, so if you have any questions about those, let me know. But that is what a needle minder is. Okay, so giveaways are super easy to enter. All you have to do is leave a comment, and you can do that live or later in the week, or you can do it on Facebook or YouTube, and that's your entry into the giveaway. I pull all of the comments at the end of the week, right before the Monday's video, and I pick the winner randomly, and that's how you get a giveaway. So we just do a little giveaway every week, and it's just my way of thanking you guys. I know there's a bajillion designers out there, and lots of things to watch. So I just really appreciate you hanging out with me on Mondays and now Wednesdays and sewing along with me. And so it's my way of saying thank you. So over on Wednesday, I shared what I was sewing with in my version of the spring flowers that I'm going to make up for our sew along. And I am using this fabric collection by Gabriel Neal Designs, right? Yes. And it is called Maple, and it is the prettiest fall collection. I almost want to say the prettiest fall collection I've ever seen. So this is really gorgeous, like rust and orange and blush florals. And then in this collection also there's some lighter blush, there's some like olivey green colors, and then there's some purples. And I don't do purple, y'all. You probably have known that I don't love purple, but for some reason it's not that like crazy, I don't know, super like saturated purple. This one is a lot softer, and I don't know, the tones in it are gorgeous. I'm going to hold that up so you can see those colors a little bit. But it is a really pretty collection. So I bought a few of these to give out periodically. I just really like it. So I wanted to get some in you guys' hands. This is called Maple again, and it is available right now, so you can check out your favorite quilt shop for that. So I also have for you a Cute Cuts mini cutting mat. This is a Lori Holt mini cutting mat. It's a 5x8. It's reversible, and it comes in blue on one side and pink on the other side. You guys know I love a little mat for doing half square triangle trimming and stitch and flip trimming. There's quite a bit of this in this quilt, the little flip and stitch kind of vibe blocks. So these are perfect because they protect your big cutting mat. They're easy to take with you. And so I have a little one of those for you. And then just for fun, I have a vintage happy Lori Holt seam, what is this? Measuring tape. I almost said seam ripper. Measuring tape. So these are just cute. And I carry a I said seam ripper again, a measuring tape in my purse, because you never know when you might find a really cool antique cabinet that you feel like you should bring home, but you're not sure about the size. Anyway, this is my main reason for carrying a measuring tape. Is there an antique I need? I feel like there is. So, okay, that is this week's prize. I'm going to put that over there out of the way. So you guys ready to sew? Have I talked enough? All right, let's sew. Yay, everybody. Oh my goodness. Rhonda says she loves fall and pumpkin spice. That's what I'm drinking for my tea today. It's pumpkin spice, y'all. It's Harney and Sons pumpkin spice Robos, no caffeine, because caffeine is not my friend, not my heart's friend. And so I just love that it's a pumpkin spice tea. In fact, I think I was drinking it last week, but it's fall, right? And it's October, so if I want to drink pumpkin spice every week, I'm going to. Okay, so that's my little spiel. All right, y'all, this is the block we are making today. This is block 1 in the Daisy Fields collection. Daisy a Day quilt, sorry. It's Monday, right? Block 1, and block 1 is the block that has the big center flower. So you can see over my shoulder, there's some blocks that have the big center flower. Am I in the way? And then some that are patchworky, like that one right there. And so this is the one we're making this week, and you need to make up 9 of these for this quilt. So, and they go together pretty quickly because the big center portion is one big piece of fabric. So that makes piecing it really easy and fun. So we're going to start. Now, I'm going to sew through this block. You will need to purchase the pattern to get the measurements. So I'm not going to tell you guys all the measurements because we're sewing along with the pattern. Oh, I need to start that up again. We're trying the iron on this side of the table today. It's shocking and new. Maybe not shocking, but it's new. And so we're going to give that a try and see if that works better and not quite so twisty. I don't know. We will see. Okay, let me get sorted here, y'all, so I can get mine. So I'm going to make up a yellow centered one with you guys. So this will be my A piece. And so I've cut my A piece, and now I am going to sew the B pieces, which on this one are this cute navy print, and I'm going to sew one to each corner. So what you're going to do is draw a diagonal line on the wrong side of the fabric, and then you're going to place one on each corner, and the instructions show you how to align those lines to give your center portion that sort of rounded look of the flower. So let me shift over here and get I'm gonna spill some tea. Let's get the other camera going here. Okay, there's my tea. Okay, here we are. So let me go back a little bit. So here's my yellow piece. This is my A fabric, and this is my B fabric. So I didn't draw my lines on. You guys know I have a laser on the machine, so I am just going to use my laser. But if I did have a line on here, it would be going this direction, just like this. So we're going to do that for all 4 corners of this piece, and I'm going to just go ahead and sew those on. And we're sewing on the marked lines, not a 1/4 of an inch away from the marked lines like you do with a half square triangle. So we're just gonna take off here. My presser foot is slipping out from under my foot, so that might need to be fixed here soon. All right, did anybody guess what the Christmas needle minders are? And I don't know if I will tell you if you do guess right. All right, let's see. Oh, Elizabeth says she loves pumpkin spice tea. Me too, Elizabeth. Okay, so we did this one seam, and we're going to repeat for all 4 corners here. I'm just going to chat with you guys while I do this. And I'm sewing corner to corner. Okay, let's see. Brenda likes the cat mug. Oh, yay, Cheryl. I'm so glad you like the fabric. Brenda says she has the coffee shop needle minder, and she says it's adorable. Yay, Brenda. I'm so glad you like it. That one's one of my favorites. They're all my favorites, though, really. Okay. So that was our second corner. Now we're doing the third. We're doing all 4. When you sew these, you want to make sure that you're not stretching your fabric in any way because you are sewing on the bias. There is a little bit of give with your fabric, so it's a good habit to get into to not pull your fabric from either side when you're sewing, but just guide it with your hand. Don't pull or kind of push it. Because this is a bias seam, you want this to be as straight and even as possible, to not have any distortion when you cut them. Trim the edges off and then press. You want to try and maintain that square shape that you've cut for the A piece. Also, just as a reminder, on my pattern pieces for all my patterns, I label the pieces with letter blocks. And so I purchased those alphabetties from, oh, that's a little shaky, sorry y'all, from Fat Quarter Shop. You do not have to purchase them from Fat Quarter Shop, but you can make your own with cute little post-it notes, or you can write on pins. Some people said that they wrote on my little cat head pins that I had out. There are camper pins coming sometime this year, speaking of supply chain problems. So it just helps to keep your pieces a little bit more organized if you have those letter markings, so that you know, okay, you don't have to measure, especially when we get to the pieces that are, you know, the quilts that are multiple pieces. That makes those a little bit easier. So what I'm doing now, oh, you can see the reflection of the ceiling fan in the ruler. Sorry about that, y'all. It is warm in here with all these lights on. So I have placed this dashed line, which is 1/4 of an inch. Let me hold my ruler up here. So this is 1/4 of an inch away from the edge of my ruler. And so I'm placing that line right on the seam, and I'm going to trim off the extra, just like that. And I am using my cute little mini mat that I got from Fat Quarter Shop. I'll link to that next week. I keep forgetting to do that, y'all. I'm sorry about that. But I'm doing that for each of my corners, and I'm trimming, and I'm getting rid of the excess, and then we will press. Okay, so you can see here that I did all 4 of my corners, and then we're going to press. Okay, I'll have to turn. It's fine, it's fine. There's just, you know, my arms are only so long. So I use an Olaso iron, as you can see, and I do love them very, very much. If you ever have any questions about Olaso irons, I'm happy to answer that. I will add a link to the, I have a shopping link for you for Olaso iron, so I will add that to the video next week. So I'm just giving a good press. I'm pressing on the front side, just kind of folded those pieces back and then pressed. And look how cute it looks. So fun. Carrie says she hopes that one of the new needle minders is a Christmas gnome to go along with the spring one, and maybe a new vintage Christmas truck. Or a camper with Christmas wreath and lights on it. Okay, so Dorothy, we do have a Christmas camper already. It's got polka dots on it, and there's wreaths and poinsettias in the window box. So we do have that one, if that is your heart's desire. Okay, so we're going to set this to the side here. And then our next step is we are going to take the C pieces, which I need to give a little press to because it got folded up on my table. This is the C piece, and I'm going to put a E background piece on each corner. And I didn't do the marked lines on these either. But the marked lines go this way on this one and this way on the right one. So from bottom left to top right on the left side, and from top left to bottom right on the right side. And I'm going to sew on those marked lines. The exact same steps basically that we just did on the first one, but we are doing it on each side of this cute little rectangle. And these are the units that form the flower block, the flower petals of our block. And you want to make sure to give your flower that rounded effect. You want to choose fabrics that are the same as the corners on the A piece that we just did. So you can see I've sewed on both those seams. There you go. Can you see those seams? So one goes here, one goes here. So I chose the same fabric for these prints in order to give that block the rounded look that I wanted. So I'm going to set that somewhere. Okay, so now we have our 2 lines, and we're going to go ahead and trim off on this one. You can do these 2 at a time if you place your ruler, so this line is lined up with the seam and this line is lined up with the seam, just make sure you keep your fingers out of the way and that you don't cut your fingertips off, because that hurts real bad. Ask me how I know. So now we are going to press here. And you're going to make up a total of 8 of these little guys. And you can chain piece these. So, you know, sew all the left sides on and then sew all the right sides on. And then you will have 8 of these cute little guys. So once you have 8 of them, then you're going to take them and you're going to sew 2 together. So I am placing these right sides together, and I always like to double check and make sure, sorry, let me get where you can see, that my seams are going to line up. So I do kind of fold back the front side and make sure, okay, as best I can, is that seam going to line up? And then I'm just going to just do a quick little pin there to try and keep it from shifting around too much. So let me sew for you here. So I'm sewing those 2 together. And I'm going to pull that pin out so I don't sew through it. So now let's open it up and see how we did. It's always a mystery, but we did pretty good. So that little flower is throwing it off and it's making it look like it isn't very even, but it is. Okay, so now we have 2 sewn together, and I'm going to press these seams open because there is quite a bit of fabric that meets up right here. I want to press those seams open. It just reduces on bulk in the flower a little bit. If you feel strongly that you want to press them from one side to the other, please feel free to do so. It's not going to be the end of the world by any means if you do that. Okay, so I think we're done with cutting for now, because I have magically done this 4 times for you guys. So you didn't have to watch me do it 4 different times, but you're going to make 4 sets of these little petal flowers. So now let's go ahead and lay out our block the way that it's going to go together. So you're going to place your centerpiece on your work surface. It's always a good idea to lay out your blocks if you can, because that way you're making sure that everything's the right direction. So it's easy, it's very easy, as we all know, to flip a block when you're sewing it. But if it's laid out on your work surface, then you can kind of see, oh, look, I have that petal flipped before you sew, and then you can make sure that you change it, and it just kind of gives you a little bit of a better handle on that. Then I've randomly cut some D print pieces, and I'm going to place them in the corners like this. Oh, sorry, that startled me. One of the dogs was outside my door and she must have jumped or something. So that's cool. Had a small heart attack. It's fine. We're all fine. Everybody's fine. Okay, let's see. I want to miss any. Christmas Needle Minders Julie says, Santa and a Christmas tree. That would be really cute. My machine did come with the laser. This is the Baby Lock Crescendo, and it does have a laser. There are a few different Baby Locks that do, so it did come with that. And I do know that there are, if you just do it like a Google search on adding a laser to a sewing machine, there are ways that you can kind of rig something with like a construction laser. I don't know anything about that, so I just use the one that comes on my machine. So what I'm going to do is sew this top row together by sewing the end pieces on each piece. So I'm going to sew these 2 little guys on here. And I'm going to chain piece these, so I'm going to go ahead and grab the bottom 2 and do those at the same time, because everything is faster when you chain piece, right? I don't know why, just feels faster not to like start and stop your machine in the middle every time. Okay, now I have to do this, now I have to do that. It just speeds your processing up just a little bit. So I've sewn the cute little aqua on one side there. The combine is back, so that's cool. He went away for a minute, but he's back. So now I'm gonna do the same thing. Again, right sides together. Gonna line up my little corner pieces. And I'm gonna sew 2 more on the other end. I'm gonna do the same thing here. Right sides together. Oop, let me shift it a little bit. Okay, and those are sewn. Okay, do you decorate for fall? Let's discuss. I have mums outside on my front porch. I will take a picture for you. And then I bought pumpkins this weekend. Here's the bottom one, and here's the top one. And you could use them interchangeably. It doesn't matter which, because we're not using directional fabrics for these. But I'm gonna go ahead and press while I'm talking. So we bought pumpkins this week and put those out as well. So I have mums and pumpkins, and I think I found one of my fall decor boxes upstairs. So I'm going to go pull those out and see about getting some things up inside the house. Some cute pumpkins and different things like that. So what about you? Have you got your fall things out yet? Okay, so while we're chatting about fall, now I'm going to sew the 2 side petals on. So I'm going to sew this side on over here. There's nothing to match up because these petals, there's no seams to line up or any points to match or anything, which is a beautiful thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and sew. Let me get a little bit closer here for you so you can see the machine. I'm going to sew on this side. So I have a wreath somewhere, and I put a wreath in the kitchen over like under my oven hood, because I have a fairly large like wall section there over my cooktop. So I did that, but that's about as far as I've gotten. I have a really cute quilt that I finished up this week that I took a class at Garden of Quilts, and it's kind of a Halloween-y sort of quilt. So I am going to do the binding on that one, hopefully today, and get that posted so you guys can see it. It's so cute, and then I'll have it to show you guys next week. But, oops, we came unthreaded. This machine also has a self-threading feature, which I love. So I'm going to thread the machine again. Push a button and it threads for you, which I very much love that feature. Okay, so we are threaded again. Rhonda's got fall mums so far. That's good. Oh, Dawn says fall and Halloween all done. Look at you, Dawn. Go, girl. That's awesome. And let's see, Lindy hung a fall wreath hanging you made. Oh, very cool, Lindy. I would love to see that. Post a photo in the group. Lindy's watching over on Facebook. I would love to see your fall wreath hanging, Lindy. Let's see over on YouTube what we have. Hi, Lori. Fall's her favorite season, she says. She has mums and pumpkins too, and she's starting on the Halloween decorations. Yay! And Jane says she decorates for fall too. She's done her inside decorating with quilts, wool projects, and dolls, and now she needs to do outside. Well, that sounds lovely. Sorry, we had to have a little tea break there. Hi, Laura. She's still finishing up the last sew along. That's okay, Laura. There's no time constraint here. So we're gonna press, I pressed these to the outside. Now we're gonna press these petals to the inside. And if that's feeling too bulky for you, go ahead and press them open. That's okay too. That's there's a lot of flexibility there as far as pressing I give you kind of a guide on how I think it works best, but if you have other ways that you think it works for you, that's totally okay. Okay, so now we have our petals. Let me scooch back here. Our petals are sewn on, and then we're going to sew the top and bottom on, and that gives us our block. So I'm going to go ahead and lay this down. You do need to line up seams, but because we've pressed the seams opposite each other, they'll nest together. And so I am going to put a little pin at each seam just to give myself the added security of those seams not shifting. So there are my 2 pins, and then I'm going to sew. I keep moving this in and out on you guys. Anita's got jack-o'-lanterns on the deck. That's perfect. I have not carved. We do a family pumpkin carving contest every year. It is my favorite thing. We have done this about 12 years now. We started when the kids were pretty young. I think my daughter was in high school at the time. I don't think my son was. Maybe. Now my daughter-in-law is doing it too. I think last year was her first year participating, maybe 2 years ago. No, last year was, for sure. So what we do is we secretly pick a design and we carve a pumpkin. We don't all live together anymore, obviously. And so what we do is we send photos, and then I post them on Facebook, and everybody, all of our friends vote. And it's a big contest every year, and we love it so much. And so anyway, it's one of my favorite things. But that is, we have our pumpkins out there, but obviously we have not carved them yet because it's not contest time. Hi, Marcia. I'm glad you're here. Okay, so now I'm going to sew this last side on, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm just going to place a pin at each seam. Laura says now she needs a jack-o'-lantern with a quilt block cut out. Oh, I love that idea. Wouldn't that be so cute? Oh my goodness, if you had a whole row of them, or even just one would be great. But I think it would be so cute on a porch to have like a row of jack-o'-lantern pumpkins. Oh my gosh, that would be adorable. So now I have done the pinning of those 2 seams, and I'm going to sew that on. So this last side on. And I do pull my pins out when I get to that seam. Those cat head pins are a pretty thick pin. I know that there are pins that you can sew over, but I don't recommend sewing over those. It's a really thick pin, and I do not want any sort of damage to your machine or for you to have to change out your needle because it's broken. That is no fun at all. So I just kind of pull out my pins before I get to them. So now we have our cute little block all sewn together. So this one, and so now that it's in there, let me go to, and I can show you on the other one. Let me go back to the main camera. So now that it's all sewn together, you can see how having the petals and these pieces that are sewn on the A piece, all the same print, really give the flower that rounded look. Now, if you wanted to do these pieces different, or even all your petals different color, different prints, that would be super cute. It would just be a lot scrappier block, which isn't a bad thing at all. But if you want to maintain this look, just make sure you pick the same prints for these. So you can see I've got my other one here, my yellow and blue one here. So these corner pieces are going to be scrappy as well. They're all different shades, and that's what gives that kind of a multicolor Irish chain look to the whole layout when we place them, when we sew them together. So that is our block for the week. And again, you're going to make up 9 of those, but you could see how quick we sewed that up. I think it was 20 minutes, and that was with me talking the whole time. And if you do chain piecing, you can go even faster. So they'll be pretty quick to go together. So you're going to do 9 of those. Next week, we are going to sew up the patchwork block, which is assembled. That's this one here. And that one is assembled in the exact same way, except that we're going to piece together a patchwork section for you in the middle. And then the rest of the flower is sewn in the exact same way. So I'll have some tips for you on doing that patchwork section and some different ideas for making that fast and fun, and then we will sew up those, and you only have to do 6 of those, and then we'll have our bees. So let's go over our schedule just real quick. So this week is block 1, next week is block 2. That's those patchwork blocks. There's 6 of those, and then we will have the bee blocks. That's the most that we will have. Those are 15 of those guys, but again, they go together pretty quickly because the fabric pieces are pretty big, so it's not too bad. So don't get overwhelmed. And again, it's not a race, so you don't have to have it done. Do them all in the same week. And then the following week we'll do some finishing and layout videos. So I hope you guys enjoyed the block, and I really appreciate you stopping by. Don't forget to leave a comment on the video today if you'd like to be entered on this week's prize. I will announce the winner next week. If you are sewing along with us on the mini quilts, I will be live again Wednesday night. Those videos are at 7 p.m. Central Time at the same places, YouTube and in the Facebook group. And so we're going to do a fun video for those as well. I only do videos for my own sew-alongs, so the extra Fat Quarter Shop and other sew-alongs that I'm doing, no videos on those. But Kimberly from Fat Quarter Shop is doing videos for those, so you have a video tutorial to check out for those. If you ever had questions on anything, please feel free to email me. I'm always happy to chat about anything. I hope you guys have a fabulous week. Lots of fun sewing. I can't wait to see your quilt blocks. If you're sharing photos on Instagram, use the hashtags. Feel free to put all your photos in the groups because we want to see what your blocks look like. So I hope you're having a great week. I will see you either Wednesday or next Monday. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody.